Hi guys, welcome back to another night talk.
Aye.
Okay, and tonight we're gonna be talking about basically whether black people specifically, but minorities in general,
Are they at a disadvantage when it comes to life? Were they born with a disadvantage by the color of their skin or just by just being a minority? Right? Do you want to go first, Sugar?
Yeah, just give me 1 second.
First of all, I'll just like to say, Sugar's not 21 yet.
I don't know what this is, but it smells so good. It's like I like a frozen daiquiri, cherry limeade frozen cocktail dailies.
She's had this for so long. I know she's been wanting to drink it. No, I'm gonna drink it for night talk.
Yeah.
And I know she's been wanting to drink
for special occasions. Like, can't just be drinking to drink. Duh.
But there's already alcohol in it.
There's not a lot. Liquor. But back to the topic. Personally, I do think like we are at a disadvantage. Like,
but so as you guys know, Night Talk is about us arguing. Night Talk is about me and Sugar arguing about a certain topic. My argument here is not that black people aren't at a disadvantage. Right? My argument is, should that be enough to, because she's saying it's so much of a big disadvantage that they can't accomplish as much as all the other everybody else in the country. So I said, just because black people are born to or born being black or being born as a minority, that doesn't mean that a lot of them should be on the not in the top 1%, or a lot of them should just be in the lower numbers.
The main reason we were talking about this, I think it's because we were just like, we live in Roosevelt, and we were just like, a lot of people are born here,
And
they
stay
go
here
to
the whole
schools
life
here, they have kids here, and they like kind of die here. So it's just like,
and it's just a cycle. Their kids do the same exact thing, and it's just a non-stop thing, right? So to her, I'm like, just because you were born black, that don't mean that this should be your life for the rest of your life. Just because you're a minority, that doesn't it doesn't justify you doing all these things. You being black doesn't mean that there's not opportunities. I agree with she's saying that
I was saying basically the opportunities that someone else may have is not equal to the opportunities that we have. Yeah, we have stuff like affirmative action and things like that, but certain things are just not an opportunity that most of us will ever have in our lifetime. If you're born black, Hispanic, Asian American, whatever your race is, you identify with, it's just not there. And then we was also talking about like, you have these opportunities like interning.
Hey, black people intern.
You know how many more would intern if it
was all equal?
If it was you were getting paid for it?
Baby, internship.
Like if you're privileged enough to work a full job interning without pay and still be able to have rent and do certain things because of your upbringing, like I would never be able to intern because I need to make money. Me interning and me working an actual job the same hours, but one's paying me, one's not. That's a missed opportunity that a lot of people have. I looked into interning, but when I thought about it, I was just like, whoa, I can't. Literally, I financially can't. Like, it's just not an option for me.
But this is my point. This is my point, right? You're not able. It's not because you're black why you're not able to pay your rent. It's not because you're a minority why you're not able to pay your rent while you're interning. The thing is, most of these people that you want to say white or whatever it is, that's able to intern because their bills are getting paid, that's because their parents got it. Black people,
and how did their parents get it?
It's generational wealth. For most of them, it's generational
because of the
wealth.
opportunities that they had when.
No.
You could bring this back to slavery, back to the 1800s. You could bring this all the way back into history.
Listen to me. There's black people alive today. There's a black man right now, or a black woman right now, whose father was a doctor, and his father's father was a doctor that goes on It's all about preference. That's what us as black people do. What we do is we make a little money, we buy a BMW, we buy a Benz, and we buy a Dodge Charger, and we buy a house. That's what y'all do with your money. These people, they invest in their futures. A black person can have parents, I'm sorry if I'm messing up with the words. A black person can have parents who can pay their bills while they're interning. It's these choices that we make when y'all are younger. What do? You're either to buy Jordans, right? And then what you blame it all on, oh, I was born black, I don't have all these opportunities because my parents couldn't pay the bills, so I couldn't do the interning. But your parents messed up from the beginning. It's not because they're black, because there's black people that are alive today who have it that way, set up for them,
but those
so
are
that the next generation is good.
Fortunate ones who were able to say that their parents were able to send them to school.
It's not about being fortunate. It's people who are actually thinking about their future. So why do black people? So you're trying to tell me?
So you tell me. So you grew up in a poor family, a poor family.
Mm-hmm.
They can't pay for your school. They could barely afford to keep you. You're telling me it's the same as a black family who one happened to fall into some type of money. You're telling me that there's no difference, that they're the same people and it's the same side of the coin, that one is not more advantageous than...
Where I grew up, I don't have parents that can pay for my college, so I have to find a way to make sure that my kids will be alright, so when they're growing up they won't have to worry about rent. That's what's going on in my head. These parents around here, in their head, what's going on, they're walking around the veldt, is where they're going to get the next dime back. And tell me if I'm lying. Parents, these young parents nowadays, they're worried about drugs, they're worried about a big car to go pick their kid up from school in, and they're worried about the best fits. Have you ever seen kids in True Religion pants? And you seen a 2-year-old in a True Religion shirt? That's not going to fit him in the next 6 months or the next year. I promise you that. And so when they grow up now, what they're going to be doing is worrying about rent. Instead of getting an internship at a good company that will take them, if they have the mindset, they won't be able to do it because they'll be worried about rent. Why? Because when they were younger, instead of their parents investing in their future or actually setting a certain stance for themselves so they'll be able to help their child when it reaches that point, instead what they do, they use the money and they buy a True Religion shirt. I don't care about I don't have no opportunities. There's nothing I can do. I don't have no everything that I'm gonna achieve in life, and I'm promising I'm gonna achieve everything that I want to achieve. I'm gonna get it because I'm working for it. I don't want to hear none of that. I don't like excuses.
Okay.
That don't make no sense.
I'm not saying that it's like impossible.
Opportunities are good. Don't get me wrong. Most of these I hate to be saying the word white people, but the people on the flip side of the coin, most of them,
think of the upper
they're lazy.
Like
and everything is just handed to them. They got all these opportunities. Us as black people, you have to work for these things. I'm not saying no.
You shouldn't work. I'm just saying the opportunities that they get so freely is not available to most of us. And it's literally just not. I know a few black families who they do work really good jobs and they get to do tutors for their children, or they get to send them to summer camp, or they get to enroll them to learn a second language, whatever it wants to be. There is those black people, those who have made the right choices. But when you look back onto how it was, there's no way you can't tell me we were born with a disadvantage.
My point is, we should not let what happened in the past. What happened in the past is really important. Don't get me wrong. I'm mad about slavery. I'm mad about the whole thing, right? But we shouldn't let it define our future moving forward. We can't keep worrying about the past.
I'm not saying
we can't keep worrying about the past, sugar.
I'm not saying, once again, I'm not saying that we should just take what life throws at us and be satisfied with it.
No, don't be satisfied.
But if you are born at a disadvantage,
you work harder than those who have.
You are still born at a disadvantage. I'm black and I'm female. I'm born at a disadvantage, raised black and an immigrant. He's born with a disadvantage.
So what do you do about it? That's my point.
Me and a certain other person who has nothing like that, who's the complete opposite of us, most times when you take one and the other, who do you think they would choose? If it was me and someone that was, say I went to Harvard and a white man went to Harvard, we're going for the same position. Who do you honestly think is more likely to get that position? Not based off of if my parents are wealthy just like him. Based off of just certain physical characteristics. physical characteristics, not intelligence, not
But why wouldn't it be
personality,
intelligence?
not nothing. Who do you think is more likely?
It's whoever. I'm not saying that she's wrong with this, because most likely they probably pick the white man to the job. But what it should be is a person that's better at the job that they're applying for.
But that's what should be. That's what should be, not what
But you're bringing it to a whole different thing about who's getting hired. We're talking about the opportunity.
All I'm trying to say is, I'm saying that we're born at a disadvantage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what is our disadvantage?
Being black.
Being black. Being born black. Just being born a certain race that you check off on a box. That's the disadvantage. So yes, I can compare it to being hypothetically hired, because that is the disadvantage I'm talking about. That's literally the only disadvantage that is there. Yes, there's a way back. You could, like I said earlier, you could bring it back to the 1800s. You could bring it back to Black Wall Street. You could bring it back to black people trying to build up their own community and it getting torn down. So I can bring it back there, and I can bring it back and use it for reference with what's happening right now. And I can do that, and I'm going to do that. I am going to do that. What I'm trying to say is, if you're disabled, you're at a disadvantage. If you're black, Asian, Hispanic, indigenous, you're at a disadvantage.
Or, as I'm going to say again, I'm not saying that we weren't born with a disadvantage, because we both were. We do not need excuses. Being born with a disadvantage don't mean that you don't try. That don't mean that you should walk around Roosevelt wearing the newest pair of Jordans.
I'm not saying that you...
That's the whole point of the conversation, Sugar, is it not?
No, the whole point
these people
is
don't try.
born with a disadvantage, being the opportunity.
But you were saying, why isn't there generations of black people who are wealthy? That's because they're not trying. They have this mindset, oh, we're born with a disadvantage. I'm not gonna try.
What happened with the Black Wall Street?
What happened with Black Wall Street, baby?
The black community was building a Wall Street similar to the one that's thriving right now. We had a Black Wall Street, strictly a Black Wall Street for black people. And it was doing very, very well. And you know what happened? They burned down the entire area that was Wall Street, that was Black Wall Street. They burned that down. So you don't think that there was families in there that was trying to bring themselves out of their economic...
So does that mean that you stop trying?
That doesn't mean you stop trying, but you're still at a disadvantage.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to be reminded that I have a disadvantage.
But you do.
I know I have a disadvantage.
You do.
I don't want any excuses. That's what I'm saying. So does that mean that you buy Jordans and you buy the latest car and do all these things?
No, it doesn't.
Instead of setting a generation of wealth like the white people do?
I'm not excusing that, because
that's what it sounds like. Not because Black Wall Street, Black Wall Street got burnt down. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't try to make another Black Wall Street. That's all I'm trying to say.
But how does that sound like I'm saying you just don't try?
You're saying, oh, do you think that people did not... Baby, not because it burnt down, that don't mean that you don't do it again. You fight for what's right. Go to the people that actually cause the damage and fight for what's right. I'm not saying use violence.
So is this conversation about just not stopping and not giving up? Or are we talking about...
That's what it's about. You're saying disadvantage
that we actually do go through.
So that job with the Harvard, are you not going to go to Harvard? Are you not going to apply to that job just because the white man is going to get the job?
I didn't say that.
That's my point, baby.
I didn't say that.
But that's the whole point that I'm trying to reach at.
I'm saying
you don't not try.
You could try, but sometimes you're trying as hard as you possibly can will never be enough, because
so does that mean you don't try
a certain way and they will not.
So what are you trying to say now? So because it won't be enough, what do you not do?
I'm not saying that either.
So do you sit in the belt? Because that way it never ends.
It never ends.
You don't sit in the belt.
But I'm not saying. I'm not saying. Never, don't try, don't reach for your dreams, the stars, whatever you want to do in life. I'm just saying sometimes there's obstacles that are thrown your way, and the only reason they're thrown your way is literally because of your outwards appearance. That's literally the only reason. So for someone to say, let's just ignore that and just keep pushing, you gotta fix the actual problem that's there in front of you. You gotta fix that, because there's no reason I should be working 10 times, 20 times as hard as you, or in the same measure, and I do not get the same recognition. I do not get the same pay. I do not get equal
But
nothing.
if you don't get the same recognition, that's because you don't want the same recognition.
How's that you don't want the same recognition?
Fight for what you want. Nobody's gonna hand it to you. Do you expect, say you're a black female, do you expect men to come and say, you know, I'm gonna just give you the same recognition? You have to fight for what you want, and that's why we have these powerful women at the top of the world who are fighting. Because they're not thinking
I'm
like
not
this, baby.
saying you don't
We have
have to
Oprah.
fight.
We have
saying
Michelle Obama. All these people are
you
fighting for the rights of
shouldn't
women.
have to fight.
You don't sit down and say, you know, no matter how hard I try, I'm not gonna get the same recognition. So that's not how it works, baby. You fight for what you want. And listen to this analogy. Let's say me and Sugar Plum, we have to walk to the camera. Sugar is white, I am black. Before you can get to the camera, you got to do a couple push-ups. So you're saying there's more obstacles for me because I'm black. So I have to do 20 push-ups, and you will only have to do 5 before you reach the camera, right? So you'll reach the camera way faster than I will, because I'll be stuck back here doing my 20 push-ups. By the time I get to the camera and reach up to you, I'll be stronger than you are. You know why? Because I have 20 push-ups under my belt when you only have 5. So when it comes down to it, to actually do the job, I'll be able to do the job better and more efficiently. Why? Because I have those 20 push-ups under my belt that people forced onto me just because I'm black. But at the end of the day, I'm stronger than you are. Does that make sense? These obstacles that we face in life, all the things that I've been through, that's only made me a stronger person.
And I agree that's
Way stronger. When I get to where I want to be in life, I want to be on top of everybody else, and I'm going to promise you that. All the white people, and when I say white people, we don't literally mean the color of their skin. The people that we feel like have more of an advantage in life than we do.
Upper
When I get to that point,
upwards.
I promise I'm going to be stronger than every single individual there around me. And that's why I'm going to accomplish everything that I want to accomplish, because I've been through all of this.
But can you admit
It's
that
the
you are
fight.
at a disadvantage?
I was born black.
Okay.
I'm an immigrant living in the United States of America. I don't know what else I
The
can
first
say.
time we had this conversation, it was a really, really long debate. Wait, try this first. It was a really long debate. And it kind of never really ended. I don't think it ended. You like it? It's good.
And that's sweet, you know?
Yeah. It was like a really long debate, and we couldn't really finish the conversation. Because I feel like we just wasn't really understanding 100% each other's points. So do you think we're at like a better, since we went over it, again, we had a conversation, a debate about it again? Because we haven't talked about this in like in months, like months, when we watched a whole documentary on Netflix about when black people were trying to buy property, how the white people wouldn't want them to actually wouldn't want to actually sell them the houses because it would bring down the value. And I was talking to Ray about that the other day too. I said Uniondale, that's where I grew up, it was predominantly a white neighborhood. Like if you look back into the 1970s yearbooks of high school, it's a completely black roster. It's completely black. White students, white teachers, white everything. But as one black person, one black family, another black family started to grow, all the whites were slowly moving out.
Because the value of
the neighborhood is going down because you're black.
So when black people move into a community, the value of the houses go down. Makes no sense to me.
And basically, I'm gonna sound off on my final thoughts on this. Do I still think black people are minorities, or anyone that is not white, a man, completely abled, rich, they are at a disadvantage? I do think they are at a disadvantage. I don't think you should settle with having a disadvantage, but I think it's good that we acknowledge that we have advantage. Because you can't say, well, I did this, why can't you do that? We're not at the same, it's not the same thing. If you climb 10 ropes, I'm going to have to climb 20 ropes just to be where you are at the same point in time. We talked about Oprah earlier. The only reason Oprah is kind of as an aspect that the reason she's so big is now, when she was a TV news anchor, she used to make half of what her white male worker made. And when she asked her boss about it, I watched the interview, she said, her boss said, well, it's because he has a family. He would not have said that to a single white male. I don't believe he would have said that. But she was black, and she was female, and she was at a disadvantage. But that didn't stop her from reaching where she is now.
Exactly. That's my point.
That is your point.
And my point is, another thing I want to hit at, right? I should not look at the projects. I should not go to Hempstead, passing through the projects, and see BMWs.
I think we gotta do better as people.
Benzes parked up in the projects.
Yeah.
I'm seeing houses that are about to be foreclosed, and you're seeing Lexuses parked up in the driveway. Why are you in a black community, your house getting? Because y'all are worried about the wrong thing. We can be great, baby. I don't know if this is true, but I heard that Africa was wealthy as hell.
Yeah.
I heard that Africa was wealthy. The richest man in the world to ever existed was a black man.
Musa Mansa.
Why are we over here settling for things that the white man is making? Your house is getting foreclosed because you're worried about owning a German car. You're worried about owning a $50,000 bag. For what? While these people, they're stacking generations of wealth so their grandchildren is going to be rich. While you're worried about having a $500,000 car in your driveway, they're worried about having their grandchildren's grandchildren rich.
So sorry, man. I don't mean to cut you, but this is not for all families that lives in these areas in town. This is literally not for all. It's only for a certain demographic in the community, because there are very hardworking families
that do struggle to pay
who struggle very hard and work very hard to have what they have right now, and to
kudos to you guys,
and send let their kids try to achieve as high as they possibly can achieve. So those are
the families whose kids will be able to take that internship while the rent is getting paid, because they'll continue to work hard while their kid is doing that internship. And kudos to you guys, because you guys are helping to make the future.
That depends.
So you don't think they would pay the rent while their kid is doing the internship?
Some families need extra help, though.
I agree. So
that's
you
why
get right out of high school and you're going right to work in.
Not everyone can do an internship. I don't care if your family is really hardworking. If they could afford to let you do that and take care of your bills, I don't think there's nothing wrong with your parents helping you.
I think some interns should be paid.
Not every intern.
I think they should be. I'm not saying that they are.
It's just they're working off a free labor at that point, just so you could have experience. That's what.
I think they should be paid. If they're doing something, they should be paid. I don't know. This was a tough topic. I believe.
We had this on our list to do for a while, but we just never got to it. I think this topic it got really heated with us the first time, and it probably got heated to the chat now. It probably looked like it was heated. It's fine now though.
It was heated.
I saw that he was heated. I didn't care though, because the conversation is gonna happen and finish regardless. But
I'm serious about this type of stuff.
I'm serious about it too, but
try to do
better. Know that you're in a disadvantage, but don't let it
hinder you from doing what you accomplish, what you want to accomplish. Yeah. But acknowledge the disadvantage. Know that you have it. Know that it's there.
And hopefully people learn to stop putting us at an immediate disadvantage just because of our outward appearance.
And we, the disadvantaged, try not to wash away the thoughts of being disadvantaged by wearing the most expensive clothes or trying to look the part, basically. So what you're trying to do
stay inside your tax bracket.
Leave the BMW, the Toyota get you at the same place where the Benz and the BMW
Don't
get
front
you.
for nobody.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, you only got you.
You're only playing your damn self.
And physical possessions don't mean that much at the end of the day. Especially when you're living in a cardboard box. So, yeah, but that's our night talk for this week. Whether if you're born at a disadvantage or if you guys think you're born at a disadvantage, comment below. If you think that minorities aren't born with a disadvantage, comment that too.
If you feel like everybody should be treated equal, I would like to see that.
I would hope so. But yeah.
You guys know the ropes. And
like, comment, subscribe.
I can't say this enough, but the subscribers are going up, so keep up the good work, guys. Alright, sugar. And see you guys next week for another night talk. I tried not to make a sound. I tried to do it silent.
I
Did
tried
that
to do
work?
it silent. This is really good.
Alright.